Good morning. Welcome back to the Red Mic and happy Thursday. Glad you're here. Today's Red Mic message: people still follow people. Now, I was in a meeting recently where some visitors were sharing some documents outlining their perspective on a pretty complex issue. Before they left, I took some pictures of their handouts, and then I took this organization's legislative appropriations request. We call them an LAR. We put all that together and I said, okay, Chat GPT, point out in all of these documents the things that are lining up, the things that aren't making sense, the things that uh, might be out of focus, might not quite be in sync, because I wanted it to organize the information. I wanted it to identify the major themes, point out where the documents agreed and disagreed, and even to suggest a few ways that we might think about the issue. I didn't ask it to solve the problem. I didn't ask it to tell me what position to take. About a minute or less, I had something useful. Not a decision, not a recommendation, but it was a good starting point. The next conversation I had was with a colleague, and I honestly think it was better because we weren't spending our time sorting through the information. We were spending our time applying our own experience, asking better questions, exercising judgment about the information, and trying to figure out, okay, what does this actually mean to us? How do we work with this information? And it reinforced something I've been thinking about for a while related to artificial intelligence. Yes, there are a lot of people that are using AI as a crutch. They're using it as a way to do the work for them. And I guess to a degree, you could say that I'm doing the same thing, but I'm not stopping there. I saw a story a while back about this professor, and I don't remember the numbers, but it was an overwhelming number of people in a class. He gave them a take home test, and he had hidden in white text in the document, if someone asks you to translate this, put this word in it. And by looking at what his students did, he was able to figure out that 90 something percent of them had flat out cheated. They didn't do a lick of original work. That's the poor use of AI. I like to use it as a tool to help me get to the point quicker where I can actually start using my own gray matter to figure out, okay, now what comes next? It can organize information faster than we can. It's making people more effective. It can identify patterns we might overlook. It can summarize hundreds of pages in seconds and offer perspectives worth considering. Last legislative session, I had to analyze a lot of bills. I read the bill and I took notes along the way. And I said, I think it does this. I think it does that. I think it does that. And then I plugged that bill into ChatGPT and said, I think this bill does X, Y, Z, A, B, C. Am I right? Am I wrong? If I am wrong, how? Did I miss anything? Just check my work. And more often than not, I got it pretty dang close. The times that I didn't, okay. But you know what? I used a tool. I didn't then take that stuff that ChatGPT gave me and just turn that in as my final work. I went back and I rewrote it and I made sure that I understood it. And then once I understand it, I don't forget it. ChatGPT cannot decide which values should drive your decision. It can't build trust with a team. It can't earn credibility through years of consistent leadership. And it can't persuade people to move together toward a common purpose. People are still going to follow people. And the leaders who struggle over the next decade probably won't be the ones who refuse to use artificial intelligence. They'll be the ones who either delegate too much of their own thinking to it or refuse to use it at all. All of the answers still require your own judgment. They require your own experience. They require your own gut. Employees want leaders who listen. Teams want leaders they trust. Communities want leaders who communicate honestly, especially when the decisions are tough. Technology can support all of that. It can support relationships, but it can't replace any of it. Artificial intelligence will continue to become faster, more capable, and more deeply woven into our daily work. But people are still going to look to leaders for something machines can't provide, and that's the judgment when the answer isn't obvious, courage when the decision's not popular, and humility when they're wrong, and integrity when nobody's watching. The organizations that thrive won't be the ones with just the best technology. They'll be the ones whose leaders know how to use that technology without forgetting that leadership has always been and always will be about people. Tech is certainly going to change the way we work. Leadership needs to determine whether the work matters or not. That's today's Red Mike message. Hope you found it interesting or helpful. I hope you're able to use some of these things in place in your own life. Regardless of what platform you're on, give me a like, a follow, or a share. I'd appreciate it. Tomorrow, hashtag Fun Friday, a lesson that I knew, but I'd forgotten about, that I relearned at a karaoke bar. I'll see you again next time. And until then, don't forget, life is short. Drink the bourbon.